Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Um, Hang on to your skivvies, kids. It's about to get real. Here's a snippet of what is coming, and it is coming. It's coming in hard from what I understand, and they are still trying to buy our ancestors' land for beads. There's similarities here, okay? And I'm going to show you something. Can you see that? I know the writing is a little difficult, so I'll read it to you. Taxation, okay, of unrealized gains, aka market value, in violation of the 16th Amendment. Considering government creep literally and mathematically means that there would be no probable way for any property owner to make money on their assets in the short term or the long term because of the compound cumulative effect of the overvaluation and overtaxation reduces the profit, if any. So, what is the loss in the depth of these issues? Is that allowing taxation of unrealized gains, not income, market value, is cause, and the exact definition of bankruptcy, where the liabilities are greater than the assets. Further, the home income to debt ratio under the above scenario would reach 60%, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. HUD, FHA, lenders utilize 28%. And this means that the average Denton County household could not afford a $150,000 home, let alone a $350,000 home, or as currently claimed by DCAD, a $514,000 median value of a home. The 16th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, in the years of 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2023, and prior to the creation of the Constitution of the United States of America, there were and are no laws in the United States that allow taxation of unrealized gains / market value. The government overreach, as evidenced herein, is trying to create taxation of unrealized gains / market value without understanding the ramifications of such action, which bring us to where we are, which is a tipping point. The state of Texas legislature, which created the taxing entities, which owns the CADS, and the state comptroller, which allegedly oversees the DCAD and the CADS, and the executive branch at the time, did a work around the U.S. Constitution and have violated the 16th Amendment, which states, and I quote, Congress to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived. This is why it says taxes on incomes. Then, as now, income was understood to refer to gains. Yeah. So, I'm wondering if that is why, I don't know if you guys have heard, that our governor, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, is trying to do away with property taxes in Florida here. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if, I mean, how are they going to work around that and this, that, and the other? I don't know. Yeah. So I thought you guys might be interested in that. Hmm? So now here is some breaking news from batshit bonkers Britain. We're tongue-tied.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where I still haven't been arrested yet. First up, Trump tried to seek a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia by speaking to the adults in the room, namely Putin. Of course, Zelensky doesn't want peace because his black rock masters want him to keep pushing to join NATO, because then they can keep laundering the money. So now Keir Starmer says he's going to put boots on the ground over in Ukraine. Well, I hope you're not looking at British patriots to be doing that, Sir Keir Starmer. I mean, why not use some of those illegals you've been bringing over and putting in hotels? I hear some of them are pretty handy with a knife. In other news, JD Vance turns up at the Munich Security Conference and tells them there's no such thing as democracy in Western Europe, there's no freedom of speech in Western Europe, there's no rule of law. So the chairman stood up and started crying because JD Vance was mean and said hurty words. Herr Flick from Germany was really pissed off. But of course, we've just cancelled the Romanian elections. They've cancelled local elections in the UK. You can be arrested for a Facebook post over in Germany, and Tommy Robinson is still in solitary confinement. So they don't really have much of an argument. And finally, a gentleman called Mohammed Shahid, heading up Hamas over in Lebanon, has just been eliminated. I think Four Lions probably said it best. I'm the Mujahideen, if you know what I mean. And you will find out what the boom boom means, like Tupac says, when I'm dead, I'm not deed. Well, this guy is dead now. That's it. Batshit bonkers Britain.
So Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, okay, which is in California, he officially announces his candidacy as governor of California. Move over, Newscomb. You're getting kicked the hell out. So Sheriff Chad Bianco has been very vocal, and he is a supporter of Donald Trump and has not been afraid to speak out the truth about Gavin. Yeah. Bye Gavin.
Good morning. Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff. We are here today because California public safety is in crisis. Crime is steadily on the rise, and our public safety policy is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the nation. I want to make this clear, and I want there to be no mistake in what I am saying. This is not by accident. The driving force in our crisis is a radical, progressive agenda fraudulently called criminal justice reform. This is nothing short of a sick and twisted social experiment where law enforcement is the bad guy and criminals are somehow victims of society and not responsible for their actions, their crimes, or accountable to their countless victims. This agenda began with the passage of AB 109, the so-called Public Safety Realignment Act. State government failed to take responsibility for prison overcrowding or their failure to build more prisons, and instead forced county jails to house state inmates while simultaneously releasing thousands of felons early. This has pushed our county jails to a near collapse and caused the early release of countless criminals. Thousands upon thousands of criminals are being released from custody early, crime is increasing, and our governor is closing prisons instead of building new ones. It defies common sense. In 2014, a complete fraud was perpetrated in California. The so-called Safe Streets and Safe Schools Initiative, Prop 47, changed many felonies to misdemeanors, basically legalized drug use, and increased the amount of petty theft to nearly $1,000. In 2016, another lie was perpetrated on voters with the naming and wording of Prop 57, tricking voters into approving the release of thousands of violent criminals onto our streets and neighborhoods. This is why we are here. Everyone knows Prop 47 and 57 are disasters, and yet Governor Newsom adamantly touts it as a success, and lawmakers continue to refuse to fix their mistake and the problems that they have created. When once crimes are no longer crimes, it allows Governor Newsom and Attorney General Bonta to cite completely flawed data points to support their failures. Californians are now suffering the consequences of a failed social agenda. We are now at our breaking point, and Californians have had enough. The lie of Prop 47 has been exposed, and the progressive love affair with criminals at the expense of victims has infuriated law-abiding Californians. While we suffer every day with rampant theft causing our small businesses to close and our large box stores to move out of state, our supermajority of lawmakers sit here in their guarded tower, oblivious to what is going on in their communities, experiencing drastic increases in all crimes, particularly violent crimes. Over the past 5 years, law enforcement has been unable to get our progressive left majority to even consider any new law or modification to an existing law that would increase punishment or send criminals to prison. Reality has gone completely upside down to the point our governor, our lawmakers, and our attorney general refuse to prosecute criminals, to include those criminals committing crimes with guns, and instead have dedicated their efforts to disarm and remove constitutional protections of self-defense from law-abiding Californians. We are in a very important election year, and the political silliness is surfacing all around us. The same supermajority who refused any sort of tough-on-crime laws for the past several years are up for re-election. They are now claiming they are going to address our public safety crisis with new laws cracking down on crime. The problem is every one of their bills are disingenuous and hollow. For instance, one bill claims to address theft by lowering the felony limit back to $400. Upon examination of the bill, you will find that it gives these career criminals 3 more chances to steal and be convicted before they are sentenced to prison. That is a minimum of 3 more victims. We cannot turn on the news, read the newspaper, go to the grocery store, or open our businesses without being slapped in the face of reality that criminals have been emboldened by a lenient system that holds no consequence for criminal behavior. Instead of addressing the obvious, tone-deaf Governor Newsom attacks a Target employee for not stopping a criminal from fleeing the store instead of taking an honest look at the failed social experiment that he himself leads that allowed that theft to occur. It is time we wake up and hold our politicians accountable for what their bills, laws, and policies have caused. It is time to return to a common sense approach to crime, realizing and admitting that there are evil people who refuse to conform to a civilized society and instead choose to victimize the rest of us by stealing our property, robbing our stores, flooding our streets with drugs, including fentanyl, breaking into our homes, murdering our children, and giving the middle finger to our justice system. Californians deserve better. I am proud to support lawmakers like Bill Asaley and several others who acknowledge that criminals are responsible for their actions and they need to be held accountable. Thank you.
So has anyone paid attention to what Baron Trump has said? Does anyone follow him or anything like that? Well, listen to this, okay? And this was on his Twitter, X, whatever the flip it's called. This is what he said. Can you see it? It says, "Everyone who knows me sees me as a realist, some even a pessimist. With that in mind," yeah, Angel, come on. "You'll understand the weight of what I'm about to say. I believe we're on the brink of uncovering a dark legacy in this country that's been hidden for far too long. If you're struggling to grasp how your ex-government could do such things, my advice is to either brace yourself or go hide until someone saves you." This kid. "I truly think the dam is breaking, and regardless of how it unfolds, real change is coming. Those at the federal and state levels should be preparing to lose sleep. It's about to go mainstream." Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, he sounds like his dad, huh? And before I go, listen to this. You guys know who George Santos is. He's a former Republican, I guess you could say, even though I never really thought he was, but I'll go on. He exposes Congress, and I don't know if he's tipsy in this, okay, but he seems to have in the past partied with lobbyists, and they are selling their votes on legislation. They are openly selling the American people. It's sickening, y'all. Okay, so like I said, I don't know if he's tipsy in this or what, but they apparently they all like get together and party and whatnot, and then they like do, yeah. So just listen to this. It's like, jeez, it's like, wow, you want to talk about dirty, nasty. I mean, just outright, just not right. You know what I mean? All right, I'll see you later, guys. Ciao.
Not running for re-election because I don't want to work with a bunch of hypocrites. It's gross. I have colleagues who are more worried about getting drunk every night with the next lobbyist that they're going to screw and pretend like none of us know what's going on and sell off the American people, not show up to vote because they're too hungover or whatever the reason is, or not show up to vote at all and just give their card out like fucking candy for someone else to vote for them. This shit happens every single week. Where are the ethics investigations and that? That breaks House rules. All of this shit they're coming after me is before I was even a member of Congress. Yet these members behave abominably while they're in Congress. So that's what we're up against. It's the sheer thickness of the hypocrisy of Washington, D.C. I don't care. You want to expel me? I'll wear it like a badge of honor. I'll be the 6th expelled member of Congress in the history of Congress. And guess what? I'll be the only one expelled without a conviction. I'll be expelled because people simply did not like me. Because they thought that they didn't want me. I'm too much of an outsider. I buck the system. I buck leadership. I vote against leadership. I like my leadership, but I don't agree with them 100%.